And we're up to day number 7 on the Beatles 12 Days of Christmas. So we're telling the story today of the 7 key influences in Ringo's life, those key milestones. So first, of course, is his stepdad, Harry, who we mentioned a couple of days ago. He was so important of going down to London, buying those drums and bringing them back up. So he had his first kit. And Ringo got obsessed with playing the drums while he was in hospital recovering from tuberculosis. The music teacher would come round and she would give lessons to the lads. So the music teacher then becomes our second person on this day. Of course, when you're 14 and you're in hospital, you don't want to do education, do you? But that music teacher brought instruments in, did songs with all of the kids who were in there. And little Richie Starkey, he always wanted the drum. So that's where he gets his little obsession with playing the drums. His friend Mary Maguire then buys him Bedtime for Drums by Eric Delaney, a record he plays over and over again. So he gets so obsessed with the drums. That's why Harry goes and buys him that kit. So then Ringo has a couple of lessons. There was a drum tutor in Liverpool called Red Carter, and he gave drum lessons to loads and loads of the Merseybeat drummers. Ringo only went for maybe 2 or 3 lessons downtown. He wasn't one for lessons. He didn't enjoy that. He preferred to just put a record on and play along. But Red Carter has a little mention in the story as well. Then we've got Ringo's next door neighbour, Eddie Miles. Now, Eddie was such a talented musician. He could turn his hand to any instrument that he picked up. Really, really good musician. And he played all kinds of different styles of music. He ended up in the country music scene as well. So Eddie really encouraged young Richie when he started the group. So our next influence, the next part of Ringo's story, is the group they formed, the Eddie Clayton Skiffle Group. And they formed this at the place where Ringo was working, Henry Hunt and Sons. And it was just this little group of friends, but the main guy in there was Eddie Miles. So the Eddie Clayton Skiffle Group, they won skiffle competitions. Young Richie then leaves them and joins a group called the Darktown Skiffle Group. So that's the next one. And also, and I found this in one obscure interview, that before Rory stormed the Hurricanes, young Richie joined a group called the Cadillacs. Now the Cadillacs, we think, were a group that started in skiffle and started going into rock and roll. There isn't much known about them, but that was a group he was in. From there, he then joins Rory Storm and the Hurricanes. That's when all those guys take on their cowboy personas, and that's where Richie really becomes Ringo Starr. Maybe after the Ringo Kid, big cowboy comic and television series in the States. They were obsessed with all the cowboys. So that's our 7 important moments in Ringo's early career. Because, of course, what comes after Rory Storm the Hurricanes? It's the Beatles, of course. So that's our 7th day. Tune in tomorrow for day number 8. Can you guess what it is? Bet you can't. See you tomorrow.